Hey guys, it's Jeremiah. Let's cook something good. Hey guys, what's going on? The holidays are right around the corner and upon us. Thanksgiving is in a few weeks. We are gonna spend the next few Thursdays creating some delicious side dishes and main dishes for you guys to bring to your Thanksgiving, your Friendsgiving, whatever kind of giving you have. We're really excited. Tonight we're gonna be making some crispy, lemony Brussels sprouts and Joel Robuchon's mashed potatoes. So let's get started. For our Robuchon potatoes, we're gonna need 5 ingredients if we count the salt and pepper. We're gonna need Yukon Gold potatoes that we're gonna peel. We're gonna use some grass-fed butter. I really like this German grass-fed butter, but any grass-fed butter will do. It just kind of gives a different layer of flavor. It's a little bit more creamy, a little more herbaceous, so definitely get some grass-fed butter. We're also gonna use some heavy whipping cream, and then we're gonna use our salt and pepper. Our potatoes, we're just gonna peel them. I have probably 2 pounds of potatoes here, and this will feed roughly 6 to 8 people. We're gonna cut these into smaller pieces so that they cook more evenly. I got my pot on the stove already with some water in it. We're gonna salt the water once we take our potatoes over there. Our water's at a rolling boil. I'm gonna take 2 tablespoons of salt and just throw it into my water. My potatoes are ready. I leave the ones that are kind of on the smaller side. I don't cut them. The larger ones are the ones that we're gonna cut. We want them all to kind of be the same size. That's gonna cause them to cook evenly and quicker. We're gonna let that come to boil. We're gonna check them in a few minutes and see where they're at. Our crispy Brussels sprouts, we're gonna need a few things for those as well. About 6 to 8 pieces of bacon, a couple of jalapeños or serranos or fresno chilies, a couple of lemons. I have about a pound of Brussels sprouts here that we're gonna trim and cut in half. We're gonna use some PANKO breadcrumbs as well. You can use other style of breadcrumbs. I would just say don't use a breadcrumb that has any kind of herb or spice in it. Our bacon, we're gonna cut it into lardoons, which is basically just little thin strips. I'm looking for about 1/4 of an inch thick. So I just have my bacon stacked here, and I'm just gonna take it and cut it into little strips, and we're gonna stick those in our pan. We're gonna take our bacon over the stove, hot skillet, and we're just gonna throw it in and let it cook. Cutting a jalapeno. We actually just want the flesh of the jalapeno. We don't want the seeds or the stems that are on the inside. We're just gonna take the top off. We're gonna cut it in half, and then we're going to run our knife on the inside and take all of this out. That's what's actually gonna bring a lot of the heat to it. And then I'm just gonna cut it into small little strips. And from that point, I'll cut it again into a little dice. Brussels sprouts. These have been washed already, but they're still a little dirty. They've been bruised from just travel, and we don't want this dirty stem piece. So all we're gonna do is take that stem off, stand it up, cut it in half, and then I'm gonna peel off this first layer so we have a nice, beautiful sprout. A good tip when you're cooking Brussels sprouts is all the trimming can be done in advance. So you could do this hours or the night before, so you're not spending a lot of time doing this while people are at your house. To check our potatoes, we're gonna come over to them. We're just gonna pull one out. And what we wanna do is we wanna stick our knife in. And if our potato can slide off fairly easy, our potatoes are done. I drained them in our colander. I'm just gonna throw them back into my pot. I'm actually gonna put a lid half on, and I'm gonna put this on a very, very low flame. I want these to dry out a little bit so there's not so much moisture in them. Took my bacon out of the pan. We want to get it crispy because that's gonna add another layer of crunch to our Brussels sprouts. We're gonna take our sprouts that we halved and peeled, and we're gonna put them into our bacon here. Our heavy cream, half cup, measured out. We're gonna pour it into a pot, and we just wanna warm this up. So we don't want it to be scalding hot. We don't want it to bubble over and scald the cream, which is gonna give it an off flavor. We're gonna put this really low, but we're gonna keep an eye on it. I'm gonna go back to my potatoes, and we'll check on this in a minute. Our potatoes, put them in the food mill, and we're just gonna turn this handle. They're gonna come out nice and smooth like this. They're gonna create a creamy texture. We're gonna add our butter and our cream to them back on the stove. Our butter comes out of the fridge. We're gonna slice it. For the 2 pounds of potatoes that I have, I'm gonna use about half a pound of butter, which is half of this block. Taking my cream that's been warming, we're gonna add that to our potatoes, and then we're gonna take our slices that we cut, and then we're gonna just kind of mix it all in so it's all incorporated. Our Brussels sprouts are ready. We want them to have a nice char on them. We're gonna take these out of our pan, put them in a bowl, and then we're gonna add our breadcrumbs. Our Brussels sprouts are out of the pan. We're gonna come back, add our jalapeno that we sliced. We're gonna let that just cook for a few minutes. Then we're gonna add lemon juice. We're gonna let that cook for about a minute. We're gonna move that around just to get all the bits off the bottom of the pan. And then I'm gonna take my breadcrumbs. I have about half a cup there. I'm just gonna add those and I'm gonna turn it down to low. And we just wanna cook those with all the grease and all the good stuff that's in there. Once our breadcrumbs have gotten kind of brown, we're gonna add our bacon back in. We're gonna let that warm back up. We're gonna add our Brussels sprouts back in now. And then we're gonna stir that all together. We're ready to eat. So there you have it, our crispy lemony Brussels sprouts and our Robuchon mashed potatoes. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, click subscribe, ask your Thanksgiving questions or ask any cooking questions. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you next Thursday for more recipes.